Hi, well, I'm Chris. I'm also known as Calcutt as well. I'm a product specialist at Novation. And yeah, we're here at the Superbooth 2018, and we have some nice new features that we've added to our circuit on the new update for Circuit. This is Circuit 1.7. In terms of when this is going to be available, we're working on a few tweaks and a few things, so it's going to be in the very near future, but we really wanted to bring it to Superbooth just to give you an idea of what we've been working on behind the scenes over at Novation. So with the Circuit 1.7, we have really kind of 3 new features that we've added into there, and these are features that people have been asking for quite a long time. So the first one is that now if I, let's make put a note here, go to my gate page, and make a long gate here. This is a 16-step gate. Before, on the circuit, this was the maximum step length that you could add to a single note. So it was just a single pattern's length worth of note. But now on the gate page, if we press the shift button, we've now got another little page here, and that includes this switch, which is a legato switch. Legato is basically going to tie or make a direct connection to the next note, so I could go to my next pattern and play a note in here. And then again, if I just gate that nice and long, what we should find is, let me just turn this one down. So if I just join these two together, just turn all the other stuff off. Now, we've now got a 2-bar note, which is a new thing, so it's really quite nice. So that's one of the things that we've got on there. In addition, we've got, let's go to my gate page again. We've got another set of switches here. And these are micro steps for the synthesizer. We've had these before for the drums, and you know we've had that on the drum trigger tracks before, but not actually on the synthesizer. So behind each of these 16 steps that we have in the sequencer, there are actually 6 what we call ticks in the background, and this just lets you position the note on any one of those 6 ticks. And this is nice to get a bit of extra movement and you know, sort of a little bit of wonkiness to the sound perhaps. And it's a really quite a nice feature. I mean, I can try to quickly demonstrate this. Let's just clear a patch. I'm going to put on my drum track just a little kick drum there just to show you. And if I let's make some notes on here. Actually, this. Okay, so we've got a little sequence there now, and it's a very static sequence. I've just kept it that way. But if I go to my gate page, press the shift page, and choose the notes, I can choose where I want it to be on there. So I'll keep this one on the beat, but I'll make this one come off a little bit. So you can see now we've got a lot more detail that we can add to the rhythm of what we're doing. Another nice thing that this can do is if I, let's go back to this note, so on the gate page, choose this note, I'm going to bring that back to the first step, and I'm going to put another note here. So we'll put this note here, and go to my gate page, choose the note, and I'm going to put that at the end of the gate there. And what this will do is just be a nice little, what we call a grace note, quite a musical thing. So if we listen out for this, you'll just hear a little slide down from that. So again, it's a nice little thing that we've added into the synth sequencer, just to give you a bit of extra detail and a bit of control over what you can do on the sequencer. On the drum triggers, you have got the multiple gates per step. On the synth, we don't. So it is really just a positioning tool for placing where you want the steps. So yeah, so it's not multiple triggers on that. I think that would be a bit too much for the synthesizer to kind of work with in terms of retriggering if you've got envelopes and this sort of thing. So we kept that to just a single trigger point there. Okay, so those are the kind of the 2 sort of gate switches that we've added. But we have another big one as well, and that is the sequential pattern chain. And this allows us to chain our patterns, but also sequence extra patterns with this. So what I mean by that is on the patterns page, normally you have pattern 1 through to pattern 8. And you can choose one of those patterns while you're working, or you could chain them together so you have 8 bars, but they're always going to play in that same order. If I do this with 4 bars, or 3, or whatever I want, they're always going to play in that same order. But what we've done on this one is now, if we use our shift button in the patterns page, now I can add patterns to a chain, or a sequence I should say, And you can see here now I have 7 patterns in here. I'll go to 8. If I go to the next page, this button will light up to say you're on page 2. And again, I can just add all of these patterns in. I'll go over to the next page because just to show you that shifts to the button here. And I can also place chains in there as well. So it's not just single patterns that you can place on a 32 sort of point sequencer. You can actually place blocks of them as well. And this is really opening up the circuit to give us nice, long, almost arrangement style sort of song layouts directly in the circuit. And of course, that's not exclusive to you know, the synth track. I can use the octave buttons here just to move through the drum 1 and 2, drum 3 and 4, and synth 2 as well. So those are the 3 features that we've got on Circuit 1.7. Again, we've been, you know, listening hard to what the circuit users are asking for and trying to see how we can kind of work with those ideas and bring them into circuit in a nice, usable fashion. So that's going to be available, I would say, in the coming months, in the coming sort of next couple of months. I think we'll start to see Circuit 1.7 available. So yeah, I mean that's the 1.7 update on the hardware. But, well, a big thing that people sort of ask about with Circuit is, you know, why is there no screen? Why, you know, how can you use this? There is no screen on here. Well, if you have a USB cable and one of these, basically you have a screen as well, because we've also got our components editor. And the components editor gives us full access to the whole synth engine inside Circuit. And it allows you to make your personalized sounds, to create your sounds from scratch. You know, it's a really nice system. I'll go to a clear session here, go to my synth. So there's your standard stock sound. And hopefully now, if we're connected, we can just initialize that sound. And now I can go through to my oscillators page, for example, access all the different oscillators that we have in here, including, you know, here we've got the pulse width. And if I look at the index as well, we've got a really nice graphic interface that just lets you see what you're actually doing. In fact, if I go to, you know, a wavetable here as well, let's just pick one at random. Again, we've got the interpolation there as a nice graphic. So it's a really nice way for you to sort of physically see what you're doing with your sound as well. But as I say, you've got full access to the whole synth engine. So we've got our oscillator page here for oscillators 1 and 2. There's our mixer. We have the filter page as well. And this is one of my favorites, again, because we have a nice visualization of the filter cutoff. So again, you know, we can see what the resonance is doing, we can see what the frequency is doing. We go band pass, you know, we can get that as well. And yeah, it's just a nice graphic way of working. The envelopes, again, nice graphics for those, including your, the three envelopes that we have. The LFOs as well, with our 2 LFOs. And once again, you know, we can access, for example, things like the sequenced LFOs, because there's a lot of power inside this synthesizer. It's a very deep instrument. But because, I guess, because you don't always have access to that synth engine, you know, perhaps you might not, you know, fully realize that, you know, what we've got in here. But yeah, so here's a little graphic as well of the sequences. To our effects page. And when I'm happy with the sound that I've created, just simply hit Store to Circuit, and it opens up your patch browser there, and you can just load the patch that you've created directly into Circuit, unplug the USB cable, and walk away with those sounds that you've created. So essentially, here's the screen for the circuit, I guess. But this is all involved in the components website. Not website, I beg your pardon, web-based MIDI system that we have. We have a standalone version as well, so you can just use this direct on the computer. But also, if you're using a Chrome or an Opera browser, you can go to the components website, log in, and you have all of your gear available to you on the cloud as well. So yeah, so that's what we have for our wonderful new little Novation Circuit 1.7.